Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
The state orders nursing homes to take one big COVID precaution to protect some of the most vulnerable as lawmakers grill officials about deaths inside those facilities. A new order from the Michigan Health Director tops our news here at noon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Evrod Cassimy. Nursing homes have to start offering booster shots to people who live there, and they now have 30 days to comply with this new order. Nearly 3/4 of people who live in a nursing home have gotten a booster dose already. But the state health director, Elizabeth Hertel, says that another dose is critical for everyone else because of the Omicron variant. The order does not require people in nursing homes get vaccinated. Meanwhile, state lawmakers are meeting in Lansing today to review an Auditor General's report on nursing home deaths due to COVID-19. The report found about 2,400 more COVID deaths than what was reported by the state. The Auditor General today will shed some light on the methodology used to find the numbers.
This was not an audit of the process the department followed to compile deaths and report them, to compile deaths from some of the long-term care facilities and report them on the state's coronavirus dashboard. Instead, what we did was we conducted a review at the request of Chair Johnson, as he mentioned, using various data systems, as Brittany identified, in an attempt to identify previously unreported deaths linked to long-term care facilities.
Director Elizabeth Hertel is testifying right now before the committee on the Auditor General's findings, and you can hear some of her testimony on later editions of Local 4 News. And now to the other big COVID story that we're following for you today. A Pfizer vaccine for kids under the age of 5 could be coming soon. Dr. Anthony Fauci says that he hopes it'll be available within a month. He says studies show Pfizer's dose provides an adequate response for children 6 months to 2 years, but they still need to work out the dosage for kids 2 to 4. Just yesterday, the state reported a 5-day total of more than 86,000 cases. That's an average of more than 17,000 per day. And we did lose another 501 lives. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits, that's now at the highest level in 3 months. First-time claims are up 55,000 to 286,000, and experts are blaming Omicron's impact on the job market. Well, you are going to notice a big change in the air when you walk outside today. Meteorologist Brandon Roos standing by for us this afternoon. The temperatures have dropped significantly.
And does it help that we were warned that this was coming? Not much when you step outside. It's cold and flaky, and that goes for the dry skin as well. We have teens to near 20 degrees. Comparing these numbers to noon yesterday, we are 15 to almost 25 degrees colder without even factoring in a bit of a wind chill that has a lot of the area still in the single digits. And that's the dangerous cold if you're out there without gloves on or exposed skin. 30 minutes or less, you can get into the frostbite. So just layer up, bundle up, walking the dog, heading out and about. Make sure you've got proper protection. We mentioned flaky, and there you go. Just some lake-enhanced, very light snow and flurries. Nothing really to worry about. Some heavier bands across into southern Ontario, but lower 20s, as good as it gets today. And again, just a little more snow heading toward London, Ontario. We, Evrod, have more snow heading our way coming up.
All right. Well, we certainly have been warned. Brandon, thank you. So today marks 1 year since President Biden took office. During a nearly 2-hour-long press conference, the president defended his time so far. It came hours before a key piece of his agenda was dealt a big blow in the Senate. Bree Jackson is in Washington, D.C. with the president's strategy moving forward.
President Biden appearing to offer a self-assessment of his first year in office, acknowledging missteps when it comes to COVID-19 and promising a different direction in his second year. President Biden painting a picture of progress, despite soaring inflation, sinking approval ratings, and a COVID surge.
I know there's a lot of frustration and fatigue in this country.
The president's focusing on the positives, touting more than 200 million Americans fully vaccinated, the COVID relief bill passed, along with historic investments in infrastructure and record job growth.
We created 6 million new jobs, more jobs in 1 year than any time before.
Still, parts of his agenda hit roadblocks.
Think about this. What are Republicans for? What are they for?
On this vote, the ayes are 52, the nays are 48.
But it was members of the president's own party who joined Republicans in rejecting a rule change that would have allowed Democrats to pass voting rights legislation.
I cannot support such a perilous course for this nation when elected leaders are sent to Washington to unite our country, not to divide our country.
Vice President Harris telling NBC News the fight isn't over.
We as America cannot afford to allow this blatant erosion of our democracy.
An erosion tested in global diplomacy as President Biden answered tough questions on Russian aggression in Ukraine, with his second in command backing up his stance.
If Vladimir Putin and Russia takes aggressive action, it will be met with a cost that will be severe.
With midterm elections fast approaching, the president says he'll spend less time selling his agenda on Capitol Hill and more time on the road speaking with voters. Looking ahead, President Biden says he wants to pass pieces of his massive social spending bill, the Build Back Better legislation, and says he plans to continue fighting for the entire package. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson, NBC News.
A new NBC News poll shows President Biden's overall job approval rating stands at 43%, and that rating is about the same as it was in October, but it shows a 10-point drop over his first year in office. The situation in Ukraine continues to escalate, and it's actually hitting home for many here in Metro Detroit. There are more than 20,000 people in our area alone who proudly claim Ukrainian ancestry. Many of them immigrated to the U.S. for freedom and democracy, and now they're watching the events in Europe in horror and sadness, and they shared their concerns about relatives that are still overseas with our Paula Tutman.
30 years ago, the map literally changed. There used to be a country called the USSR, and suddenly it was called Russia. Ukraine was one of those territories that became its own nation, and Ukrainians will tell you that is when the culture and the core of who they really were began to flourish. This concert is by the Ukrainian Bandura's Chorus of North America. The instrument, the 60-stringed bandura, sacred to Ukrainians. The story this music is telling is the bandura becomes a powerful gray eagle that has the strength and the wings to fly to Ukraine and seek the freedom found in the wide open fields. The importance of this music on this day is once upon a time, this rich culture had to be hidden because once upon a time, Ukraine was part of an age-old map called the USSR, or the Soviet Union.
During the communist times, the religion, whether it was in Ukraine or Russia, was controlled by the Soviet elements in Moscow.
In 1991, with the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the Ukrainian SSR became the sovereign independent nation of Ukraine. The vibrant culture came alive, and for the past 3 decades, this massive landmass and its people have been struggling through the messy business of democracy.
It was, jubilation, not just in our family, but the entire Ukrainian diaspora community around the world. They started to understand that they were free. They were free from Moscow. They were free from Russia. And they could choose their own path in life.
Born in Detroit, Anatoly Murha and his wife and his father and his mother have family and friends still in Ukraine. He was there just before the pandemic struck.
I've seen how Ukraine has evolved and how people on the streets are really living life. I mean, people are laughing. People were enjoying themselves. People were enjoying economic prosperity. No one wants to lose that human right. And that is my biggest concern for my friends, my family, and the entire country of Ukraine.
So as Vladimir Putin's Russia lines the border with 100,000 troops and clears the embassy.
Yeah, the deepest concern, obviously, is the potential of an invasion and the ruination of the Ukrainian culture.
That's why we have to stand, we as a community, as humans, right? This isn't just Ukrainian Americans, but we have to stand against any attempt to force Ukraine to cede any control of its territory.
Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Paula, thank you. Just a little while ago, Secretary of State Antony Blinken warned of a swift, severe response from the U.S. if Russia sends military forces into Ukraine. All right, still to come here at noon, Omicron continues to impact the travel industry, and a major airline predicts fewer flights for months to come. Plus, what a juror in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial said after her conviction that has her team asking for a new trial. That's next as well.